I did some one-step backing again today. I had the, like I was showing those pictures on some of the routing of the cables and stuff. I had this wrong. It was right at the time, but I didn't have enough slack to get this back. Well, you can't see it. The coupling up here for the tail lights and the turn signal, rear turn signals, and some of the other cables back in here. It was up here too far, so I had to reroute it from over the top like I'd had, and then reroute it underneath. And then once I saw the picture, and then I could see how everything goes, I had to redo the little rubber thing on the starter solenoid and put it in the way I thought it was originally, because there's a cutout there to make it slide back farther into the engine compartment. And then I stuck this on. I figured, well, what the hell, if I got any problems, I'll take it off. But I want to get some of this stuff started to assemble, and I wanted to get the throttle cables on, and I got them adjusted. There was an adjustment screw up on the handlebar that I could pull the rubber back on and adjust the little sensor to get the slack out of the cables. So they're in there, and the throttle stops, and there's still a little bit of slack in the cable. So got that done. Now I'm going to concentrate on taking the variator cover off and check under there, because I have to, like I said before, I wanted to check the bearings in here. If the one on this side's bad, then maybe the one on this side's bad, and probably take the rear wheel off. And yeah, what the hell, you might as well watch me. Got a couple 10mm cover bolts here, kind of like what the T-Max has. And it doesn't look like there's any more. Well, there's a bolt underneath that goes to the rear brake cable. Let me go stick that. It's a it would hold the cable in this way up against the engine. So let me go ahead and put that with the other stuff. So I had the rear brake cable on end with some clamps, and I've been oiling it every day on one end, and I finally noticed today that there's oil seeping out the other end. So now I know the cable's got plenty of oil inside of it. Okay, same linky. Yep. Remember, keep a bag for every. There we go. There. That hasn't seen the light of day in who knows how many years. Built looks pretty good. I also wanted to get this off so I could turn it, so I could put a little bit of oil. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that's powder off the driven pulley. There's the brake drum. There really isn't any scorings, a little bit of rusting in there. I need to clean up some of the corrosion on the splines there, but otherwise it's in pretty good shape. I think if I wanted to get that bearing, I'm going to have to tear that whole ass end down, so I don't know if I'll do that or not until I get the engine running. Take my gas mask off here. I used one of my drills and a little brush on the end to clean up around the engine here, put the plug back in so I don't get dust in there. Cleaned up the rust that was around this, get it shiny again. I was able to squirt the driven pulley faces with some water and go in with a toothbrush to scrape off most of it. This has got to be aluminum because just the way it feels, and surface corrosion would have been aluminum corrosion, and because it wasn't rust, it was white powder. So I was able to get in there and then take some real fine sandpaper and clean down the surface. I still want to take it off to see what I got inside. The axle on the other, it doesn't feel any play in there, so hopefully it's just the bearing on the trailing arm on the right hand side that's the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and take my drills and do the back side over here now. And I found a plug over here too. Now that the rear wheel's out of the way, I'm going to take that plug off, and I believe it's the lower drain, drains any moisture or water that's in the cylinder head here, and drain that out. And Well, I finally figured out which one of those screws on the manual, that drain hole doesn't really look correct, but it was. It looked more like something to hold the case together than a drain bolt. And it's down here, and I got it back in place, and I drained out the oil. It was all stinky old oil, but there wasn't any metal filings in it. And I don't think I'm going to have to worry about the bearing on this side, because there was no, if that one had probably gone as bad as the one on this side had, the oil seal would have failed in behind here, and that would have got a lot of oil coming out of there. I will know once I put the oil back in and let it set for a day or so, if I get any oil seepage out the other side, that I know the seals are bad going out. But with 7,000 miles on it, I don't think. I think the one that died over here was because of that extreme dusty condition that I've been complaining about this whole time. And what happens with bearings that are protected by seals like that, if they weep a little bit, they start getting dust attaching to them, and so the dust gets underneath the lip of the seal and starts lifting it, and then more oil seeps out and more dust collects, and then it finally, all the oil inside, or the grease that was inside the bearing, was slung out. So let me go ahead, and I've got a little over, it says 0.15 liters, so that'd be like 150 milliliters. So I've got that in my container here, and I got my old nozzle, and so we'll go ahead and fill this up and see if it drains back out again. Even though the bike does want to lean that way a little bit, I've got a 1/4-inch piece of plywood underneath the right hand strut to make the scoot level. Well, I was able to fill it back up again to where it was just dribbling back out the opening, so I know I have enough. So they say on assembly it takes 2.2 liters or 200 milliliters. So because I had left it overnight and tilted, it would have acted the same as being a brand new case with no oil in it at all. So get a little gasoline and clean that up. We'll come on to something else. Well, I guess we're going to change oil. We might as well change that engine oil at the same time. Eventually I'll have to get to that. I think there's a screen rack in here to clean too. Some nasty looking oil. Let that drain out, and then we'll fish in there for the screen. Let me go look at the manual again. I had to use some little pliers to get that little rascal to come out, but it's clean. No chips or anything in it. Well, I've added a couple more things. I'll give you another angle, but this was the seat latch. And then there's a cable that comes down the bottom. I try to remember where in the hell that went. And then there's this plastic piece in here that is a fuel tank protector. And before I can get the fuel thing in, I need to probably get this thing in place. Because I can't put the fuel tank in to test it. Well, I could, but I think it needs to be in place just to, I don't know, maybe not. But I'll go ahead and install that too. Took me a while to figure out how to get it in. There's a better view of that seat latch in there. And then there's a little cable that comes out in the bottom that comes into the back of, there we go, this thing. But I'm assuming somebody either tried to break in or somebody lost their keys, so I'm going to have to see if I can find some way to fix that. But that went in right in there. So, and I've got the this protector plate in, and luckily I had plastic liner under fuel tank, so I knew where the hell that damn thing went. So there's the fuel outlet. So. And it just kind of like sets on top here. I think you can fold it up and get into the engine underneath of it. It's kind of like a hood of some sort. So, and I figured out where that little gap in here was is so you can get a screwdriver back into through the fuel idle screw back in there. I don't know if you can see it there, not right at the tip of the screwdriver. I was able to take this wide mouth C-clamp and some wood on both sides and straighten the this thing. Let me get some better light. There was a little dimple raised section. This was probably 1/4 of an inch higher before I started, so this goes up underneath the front fork, so I'll go ahead and put that on now. Well, I got it back in here, and it kind of, you know, it clears the hose in here, you can see, and it's got some damage in here, which must have been when it got crunched back in here. It jammed up against the pipe and this bracket right there that holds the pipe hanger. So, and then I had to one of the other ones on the other side, probably while I was getting this thing straightened out, it got tweaked off to the one side, so I was able to get my pliers in there and get it back in to where it was, you know, the bolt would go in. So that's back in. Well, as you can see, there's a little bit of sunshine out. It's not so dark. I've got the engine oil changed, and I'm getting no leaks from down around in here. It's still dry, so that seal down in here is really good. And I took a soft cloth and a little wooden stick and cleaned all the dust around from the lip of that seal where it comes through that shaft there. But that's where you get problems with dust gets under the lip of the seal, and then pretty soon you got a leak, and then you got more dust and a bigger leak.